Welcome back if you're just joining us. This is Relationship Wednesdays, and we are at our DMC segment, Deep Meaningful Conversations. And our topic today is savings and investments. We have the perfect panelists for this. We have Adelaide Othiambo. She is the founder and CEO of Blue Wave Insurance Company, microfinance. Yes, something like that. Microinsurance, actually.
Yes.
Yes. And we have Felicitas Wangari. She is the founder of a youth initiative called 52 Week Saving Challenge Kenya on Facebook. Yeah, so make sure to hit her up. Anyway, so we were talking about everything savings, yeah? And we wanted to understand how we can get on Blue Wave, how different it is from other insurance companies. Yeah.
So with Blue Wave, the whole idea is to break the barriers of insurance. And the common barriers of insurance are cost. It's very expensive for most people to buy conventional insurance.
Yes.
People don't generally trust that insurance is going to pay at the point that they pay.
Yeah.
Many people understand that they can pray and God can heal them. They understand that they can take up a loan, etc. But insurance has largely not been
a strange
understood.
concept.
It's a very, a very complicated technical thing that many people don't really understand easily. And even if you manage to break these three barriers, the largest is actually access. If now you understand, oh, I need health insurance for me and my family, etc. I now need to know a broker, an agent. I need to walk into an insurance company, fill in very complicated forms, do tests. It becomes very difficult. So at Blue Wave, we really work to break these four barriers so that access is there. So for one of our products, we have a USSD service. So you only need to do is dial a short code. You dial star 890 star 50 hash. And with that, you get a vast array of insurance products, others starting at 100 bob, 40 bob, 30 bob, 300 bob, and you get quite a different assortment of products for that 300 bob, for instance. You will get 100,000 shillings worth of life insurance or funeral benefit, 100,000 disability, 10,000 shillings hospital cash. So think about that boda rider who doesn't have direct access to of this cash benefit in the event that perhaps out of an accident he's actually now disabled. This boda rider with this 100,000 shillings can actually buy another motorbike and give it to either a cousin or a brother and get him some little bit of income continuously. Let's break this cycle of continuous harambes and chamas. With 100,000 shillings, you might not really need to call a harambe for a burial at all. And that is only 300 bob a month, sorry. And with that, that was a bit scary, sorry. Sorry guys, it's 300 bob a month. And what you do is you just dial a short code. If you don't have 300 bob, you have 150 bob. You get half of those benefits. It'll still be something that gets you in a place that you're not as desperate as somebody who is now starting from ground zero. And for that, we've made it accessible by USSD. USSD is a short code service, and any single person, you don't even need to have internet.
No.
You don't need to have data or anything. You just need to dial the short code, buy your products, and every month we'll send you continuous reminders of what your policy is via SMS and email. And the whole idea is just to digitalize the process, make it easy, make it accessible. And then we know that these microinsurance products are not really enough sometimes. People want the more hardcore products. They want health insurance comprehensively. NHIF has done an awesome job at informing people on what health insurance can do. But some people still want that a little bit extra. They want to ensure that they want to go into hospital, I'll get my test done, I'll get to see a doctor, I'll get my drugs, etc. So for that, we have built actually a mobile app. It's called Imarisha Afya. And if you go to the Play Store, it's actually available. And when you dial this, you can actually get a vast array of health benefits, starting from 500,000 worth of inpatient, 75,000 maternity, 75,000 outpatient, 10,000 dental, optical, etc. And for a family of about 5, premiums start at about 20,000 shillings for the whole year. And before we go live with this, we're actually partnering with microfinance institutions to enable you actually get access to financing if at all you do not have that 20,000 shillings at scratch. So how do we create an environment where the savings that you're making are actually secure from these shocks that can come and just snap out all those savings that are going, tear it apart. And we start at the very basic bottom. USSD service, everybody with a phone of whichever level, you can just dial that short code, star 890, star 50 hash, and go shop away and just empower yourself to evade risks much better.
Later on, I want us to talk about people's mindsets with insurance.
Yes.
We have some people who earn pretty good money, and you were saying NHIF does a very good job informing people. They still have very low numbers. They don't have the numbers that they should have. So there's that issue as well. But going back to savings and investments, I was asking you during the break whether people still use piggy banks. Yeah. With your challenge and people joining, is that your experience? Are people still using piggy banks to save?
Yes.
What is the thinking behind that? Is it that we're incapable? We're able to go on our phones and borrow from Tala, Branch, Mshwari, KCB M-Pesa, everyone, all these mobile loans. Yeah. We're not able to do the exact same thing on Pesa Link to save in a savings account. No. We have to physically put the money in a piggy bank.
So I tried to, the first year I was like, oh my goodness, you guys are saving in piggy banks, it's not safe. And we've had cases of people coming and saying, oh, I had a piggy bank, I've been saving the whole year since January. And, someone made off with it and it had, many thousands. Oh, so there have been cases of, it's not safe. Yeah. But I realized finance is more about mindset. So I can tell you saving Mshwari and you're like, I want to see the money. Like I want to feel when I lift my piggy bank, I want to feel it's heavy, that I'm actually saving. So these things don't change overnight. Okay. So you find that, it's about mindset. Like for me, I'm happy I save on Mshwari or whatever. Yeah. Someone else, like they swear by the piggy bank and you cannot tell them anything. The only thing that made them break their piggy banks before time was CBK governor. Oh, yeah, when the notes were changed. Yeah, so now they had to break the piggy banks and, take the money to the bank.
Like the world gives you solutions, then you spit on the wall. Like,
honestly, seriously. Yeah. So some people feel like, oh, I earn 10,000 shillings, I earn 15,000 shillings, I earn 6K, or I earn 40,000 shillings. Whenever I pay all my bills, once I pay rent, once I pay electricity, water, everything, if I have children, once I put whatever I'm putting aside for them, I'm left with nothing. How am I to save? And that's a question that's always, always, always coming up. They're like, even that 300 bob, as in Hannah, they're like, I've taken care of my bare minimum, and that's why even these mobile loans become a thing, because before the month has ended, they feel like, I still have needs I need to take care of and I don't have the money. And then you're telling that person to save. So what advice do you have? Because you see, you do have people who do earn 10,000 shillings, 6,000 shillings. True. Yeah. That's true. So what advice would you give to that person? How would they be able to put money aside?
Like after you've paid all your bills, you're not going to save anything. And you're not going to save like regularly. So you have to put savings. They say pay yourself first. Yes. Like you're going to pay your salon person, you're paying your landlord. Why can't you pay yourself first? So I say put it as a bill. Like as any other bill. Saving is a bill. Make it automatic if possible. Okay. So if the money is coming through the bank, if your employer has a check-off system with maybe a money market fund, do it. If it's the bank, as soon as the money hits your account, have it transferred to the savings account. If you don't have those options, like just make it a bill. I know for most people, like women who are in chamas, like chama money haikosekani. Like you have to pay chama money.
Right. Can I just add something to that? I think as Kenyans, the reason that you have nothing after you've paid all your bills is because you're living above your means. Yeah. Darling, if you're earning 20,000 shillings, how much are you renting? If you're earning 20,000 shillings, you should not be staying in a house above 5,000 shillings. That's true. Or you know that you cannot afford to stay in a house beyond that. Yeah. You have to partition your money. 20% or 10% of your 2K has to go on your savings account, because tomorrow you'll be weaker and you will not be able to work. So what is happening here is, I've paid all my bills, but I have nothing left. Yeah. Redo your thinking. If you're staying in Kileleshwa, and you've paid all your bills and you have nothing, please leave Kileleshwa and move to a cheaper estate. Yeah. If you're driving an expensive car, darling, stop that. Park your car, start using a matatu, you will save a lot more, and you'll be able. I don't believe that I've paid all my bills, I have nothing is an excuse. Yeah. And it goes again back to the culture of how we have really raised our children to harness and understand where money comes from and needs and goals prioritization. And how money works. So the reason why you're paying all your bills and you have nothing left is you're not there's something in where you're staying that is not making sense. If you're earning 5,000 shillings from an M-Pesa shop every month, then you know that you either cannot afford to rent a house, you will need to look for a friend who can house you for some time, make an arrangement with them, so that at least at the end of the day, you can put aside 500 bob for a rainy day. So there's a lot of mind shift that needs to happen here. We are all ideally living above our means, and that is bringing this thirst of credit, where we don't have enough and we want to have more, and the quicker way to have more is to take up loans. But let's just take a sit back. If you cannot afford Uber, darling, please just achana nayo tu. Chukua Uber chap ama Uber boda, or just cut back on what's going on.
But let me also add that even if you living, below your means and, taking a matatu and all that, if you have not planned for it,
that's true.
It's not likely to happen.
Don't
wait for willpower. Don't wait for, the spirit to touch the inspiration.
Actually,
it's not going to come.
To be like an automatic miracle back.
It's not going to happen.
Someday
it's not going to happen. You have to plan for it, and you
right.
have, if possible, make it automatic so that you don't have to agonize. Will I save, or will I take my Ubers this month, or will I do ABCD? First save, and then whatever is left, now plan with that. Like assume now what is left is what you have to plan with. So if you don't plan for it, it's not going to happen.
That's true.
And then you talked about the whole piggy bank thing, So maybe people should understand there are other ways you can save your money and actually earn an interest. Like just take it to the bank, and at the end of the year, because most of the times you have your piggy bank, if you save 30,000, at the end of that year, it's still going to be 30,000. So most people normally say, okay, I'll take it to the bank, but then the interest rate is like too tiny. But then again, I'm like,
it's still
it's
better.
5 Gs that you didn't have, first of all. Also your money was there and it was a bit more safe. And so we are talking about savings. Now, let's talk about how we can invest our savings into something that can grow into something bigger. Because again, we have us millennials, other younger people. You save money, next thing you do is, me and my friends, Santorini, here we come, So what can we actually do just so we can have like long-term savings and we can always have like a continuous revenue? Because then again, there is this thing of most people doing 8 to 5 jobs. After your job's over, you don't know what to do. You get into a crisis because now you have to go back to your mom's house. You don't have any investments. You actually have no source of revenue whatsoever. So maybe you can advise people on what investment options they have.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's this one thing that I think is something that I started when I just got my first job.
Yeah.
And this thing was, you don't have to be wealthy. You don't need to have earn enough to actually have a big savings. So there's small instruments that you can use and things that are not so quickly tangible. So I'll give you an example of if you're in your first job, you've just started off, register yourself for a personal pension plan. Yes, honey, you're 25 and you're not thinking pension, you're thinking that's for old people.
But you'll be old one day.
That when you're saving into a pension, first things first, your pay as you earn, the taxes are actually reduced significantly. And if you're paying up to like even, 20,000 is high, but even just 1,000, 2,000, that amount of money would have gone into taxes if you didn't pay it. So why not just put it aside? Put that 1,000 bob, reduce your tax. In fact, literally, the government is paying you for that first action. So if you're starting off, you're young millennials, and you've gotten your first job, and perhaps your employer has not set you up in a pension scheme, that is the fastest and the quickest way to actually start saving from almost nothing. Because if you didn't save, you'd have paid it in taxes anyway to a significant amount. And then that idea of having goal setting, where you really have a vision, and if it's Santorini, and that is the reward, let it be planned out. Because let's not downplay Santorini being as a bucket list, because you will do Santorini and it will be a big issue for you, and it might even give you an exposure and worldwide experience, which can actually open up doors for you in future. So that's a good thing. But set it out as a vision, put it up as a group of girls or a group of friends, and save it through so that you have that plan set.
Do you know how somebody can actually go about saving for their pension if their employer is not offering it?
Oh, certainly.
Like we were saying, a big issue is lack of access. Someone is watching it, they've said, okay, do, and they're like, but But
I want to say, go to our Facebook page and talk to us, and I'll set you up, because all these pension funds are available.
Yeah.
You just need to fill out the forms, and those deductions are done automatically from your payslip. And you see, the reason with that is why that is really good. It's really hard to start going back to get this pension back to use it, if at all you can get it. This is a good thing. If you need to close your pension account, right now the law agrees for you to do so. But it's not a very easy process. It's not like you will just dial like a code, boom, boom, tingling, and magically 3K will come in. There's going to be a little bit of a process. And you'll find that it's just a matter of filling in a simple form, and boom, deductions start every month, and you're already in your pathway to save a lot. And what I found was very helpful is when I kicked off with work, and I just started throwing in, because at that time you don't have responsibilities.
Yes.
There are no kids crying for diapers, there's no school fees, there's no much that you're doing with this money anyway. Throw chunks of it into a pension fund, and it's going to earn quite significant investment than you would in this usual other banks, etc. And I have no problem with banks, but you would get a better return out of that. And you will not have that very quick access to it if at all you're not very prudent with this kind of cash. And for young people, I would say that it's really the easiest way to do so, because it gives you those two benefits: cash, investment, and tax reduction, which is awesome.
That's like a win-win-win. It's a three-win. It's a
win-win. It's literally money that you'd have given away anyway. So you're keeping it later, and you'd find that once you've started that habit, you will always learn that way, and then it becomes easier to add it up. And I was telling you that when I had this saved for about 2 years, now I'm getting married, and boom, there's this 200 or 300K that perhaps I would have paid quite a big chunk of it. You can actually go towards such expenses later on if you need to. But I advise, of course, think about pension very long term. Keep going. And
Felicity, I want you to explain to people, because I'm sure you've been talking to people on an individual level about this piggy bank, and why this saving of I must see the money doesn't make sense. Because of course, when you put your money away in a savings account, or if it gets to an amount where you can put it in a fixed deposit, your money is earning money. But that's not going to happen when it's in your room. So can you, under the mattress. So can you explain, because of course people are like, oh, I'll tradition our change, but some of them changed it and now have withdrawn it so that they can continue and feel, it's there. Folded and squeezed inside that
bank,
box. So can you explain to people why it's necessary to have your savings and what it means to have your money make you more money?
Exactly. So first of all, I've never advocated for piggy banks because first of all, it's not safe. Like we've had even cases of people coming in and saying, oh, I had my piggy bank and now it's gone. And people see it, but they are like, okay, this will never happen to me. I lock my piggy bank, I live alone, I put it in a safe place.
Are also locked, okay?
Exactly, So that's one of the things I tell people, that it's not safe, first of all. And then, of course, your money is not gaining value. You're earning no interest, no compound interest. Usually I tell people, like, put it in a money market fund, because fast access will be a bit more complicated than M-Shwari, for instance. Like M-Shwari will just, do the withdrawal request, and within 2 days you get it back, and you're like, oh, I tried, and But so I usually tell people, try a money market fund. First, you'll get compound interest, like your interest is earning interest. Rather than in the bank where, your money is just there and you're earning simple interest, such that you're only earning interest on the principal, the initial amount you put in.
Do you have a super simple way of explaining compound interest?
So let's say you put in 100 shillings. And then you earn 10 shillings on it, that's interest. So the next time they are calculating interest, they're going to calculate on 110 shillings rather than just your 100. So your money grows faster. Because, every time you earn, it's added to the principal, the initial amount, and then they calculate the interest on all that rather than on only the amount you put in.
Right.
Yeah.
But guys, that doesn't mean simple interest is bad, because sometimes you actually need a certain amount to get into these money markets and funds. Even to do the fixed deposit, you can't do it with a certain low amount. So you can do your simple interest with your savings account until you get to a certain level where you decide
with
what
money
to do.
markets, initially they were really inaccessible, but they've really improved. Like Zimele, you just need 100 shillings.
Oh, great.
Oh, wow.
Really?
That's
Yes,
amazing.
100 shillings and you're in.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You sign up online,
Yeah.
go to a cyber or something, sign up,
Yeah.
And start earning.
put your 100 shillings and you
Yes.
just do it via M-Pesa and you start earning.
Okay,
So
then
it's,
that
it's
one even
become,
I
it's,
didn't know.
it's
I'm going to
become,
start that one.
it's
I'm
it's
doing that
become
after the
really
show.
accessible. Before you needed like, I know a money market fund that requires you to have 250,000.
Yeah.
For most people, that would be inaccessible.
Yes.
But there's something for everyone nowadays.
Right.
Yes.
And then again, we are throwing the word Mshwari and other loan, Tala. We've talked about people not living beyond their own means.
Right.
Maybe you can just emphasize on the beauty and the peace, the tranquility that comes with you being liquid and not having loans, debt everywhere.
Yes. So again, it goes back, and I will not repeat myself too much, sorry, but it goes back again to really how our culture is and how we were really trained and how we learned to respond to money and to relate to money.
Yeah. Okay.
So we found that we were almost left in a situation where we are now, situations are coming, we need money, we have jobs, but we've not really planned ahead and etc. So it all starts with, of course, cutting down on things that are a bit excessive around you.
Yes.
Because loans actually come because of emergencies. So very many good times. Requiring a loan requires you to have an emergency. So you have to calculate backwards. What is this emergency? And most of the emergencies, you cannot say that school fees is an emergency. It is not. We know that school fees in answer term, it starts in January, May. It's very known. So there is no way that school fees will ever be an emergency, people.
Right.
There is no way childbirth will be an emergency.
Oh, true.
Darling, it is 9 months.
9
In fact, it's not 9 months, it's 10 months because I've been pregnant twice. It is 10 months, So you really don't imagine that this child will not be born at some stage.
Yeah.
So you have 10 months to join the 52-week challenge, and for 52, 40, it's actually 40 weeks. 40 weeks, do I choose Pumwani? Do I choose Aga Khan? Do I choose Nairobi Hospital? If I don't have an insurance policy, I will need 100,000 shillings to deliver in this hospital. And I have 40 weeks starting now. So where do I get X, Y, and Z? So it's all again planning and etc. So you might find an emergency like now a death maybe.
Yeah.
And a death can very easily, again, as I said, be absorbed by an insurance policy.
Yes.
So for some policies as easy as 100 bob, 200 bob, you might find that you can be able to have, you do not have to have an exorbitant barrier. With 50,000 shillings, you can be able to bury, and it doesn't become an emergency anymore. So where people run for loans is where we need to now research. If there will be people who are running for loans for their own interests, and this is not a discussion around morals, etc. Maybe you have another show for that, but here it's just really about cash and your relationship. So emergencies and shocks that would force you to take up this kind of loans should be cushioned by insurance policies. And then where circumstances now force you to get it. And I really believe if you're prudent, loans should actually be for investment. You're taking up this loan so that you can be able to increase your stock, get to China and buy and shop more so that you can be able to sell better, or you have a strategy in place for a marketing of this particular product.
That's also another thing. Is some people, like for the millennial generation, are scared of loans. It's a bad thing. Loans are not necessarily a bad thing.
They're not.
What are you taking it for? And it should be money that you're using to earn more money. And you are taking a loan that you know you'll be able to pay back.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have a plan to be able to pay it back. Not you're taking the loan and then when it's due, you're like,
oh my gosh, yes. And
so what happens nowadays is, so you've taken the Mshwari loan, so it's due, you go to Tala, pay the Mshwari, then take Mshwari and pay all cash. So it's a whole cycle, and there are so many apps.
There's so many.
About 50 apps, and I have members of the community who say, I had all the apps,
Wow.
I can tell you any app that is there that gives you loans, I can tell you. And it's giving people a lot of stress because some of these apps, you know, they even call your exes and your parents and tell them, you know, tell this person to pay our loan. And, you know, you don't want your matters out there.
Yeah.
So it's giving people a lot of stress. And, you know, once you get into the cycle, it gets really difficult to break. So one thing I usually tell people is, first of all, you know, just delete the apps.
Fast.
Delete the app. And it has worked for those
Pay
who have
then
tried
delete.
it. Delete all those apps. No, just delete. Like what happened to, because you don't have the money anyway.
true.
So if you have the apps, you're going to be tempted. Okay, I don't have the money and these guys are on my neck. So let me just take a loan from this new app that has come up. So it becomes a cycle that you're never
unhealthy.
breaking out
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
Yeah. God.
So delete the apps and now start list all those loans one by one from the lowest to the highest and start paying off. Start paying off, ticking off. Oh, wow, I've done that.
Right.
Another one, I've done that.
Yeah.
You'll
Okay.
probably be in CRB. Choices have consequences.
Yes.
But you're going to now get out of that cycle.
Right.
Yeah. And of
So-
course, you'll need to get, you know, better money habits
Yeah.
so that you
Yeah.
don't get back to that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a minute, we are going to continue to demystify our toxic relationships with these loans and our money after this commercial break.